I'm back. So I'm at this cemetery looking at some graves, and I'm actually like 2 miles away from this story I read last night. And I'm thinking, like, let's go to the crime scene and learn a lesson about locking our doors. So here we are, guys. I want to tell you about Jennifer Ayers. She was 63 when she was murdered on January 15th, 2018. She had lived here in her Lake City home for 25 years. At the time, she lived alone and her son was away at college. Jennifer was a lifelong scholar, and with the help of the local library, she continually improved and remodeled her house, doing the work herself. The rest of the time was primarily spent tending to her garden, talking to her neighbors, and walking her dog Wolfie. She was well loved here in this community. She was raped, tortured, stabbed, killed, and then her body set on fire. Her body was found after officers went to do a welfare check at her home. A 23-year-old Bellevue man, Michael Giordano, was arrested hours later and charged with aggravated first-degree murder, robbery, burglary, arson, and rape. His bail was set at $10 million. Giordano had worked not too far away at Fred Meyer's, which is a grocery chain. But at the time of this crime, he was homeless. He had been walking in the neighborhood, and he saw her Mercedes-Benz parked in the driveway. He said he picked Jennifer's house at random because he liked her car. He walked up her driveway, and her door was unlocked. He said he sneaked through an unlocked door, found her, tied her up with cords from an Xbox controller, and then stabbed her multiple times to get her to tell him where her valuables were. He then raped her and killed her. And then he set her genital area and upper thighs on fire in an attempt to hide the evidence of the rape. He also said he wrote messages on the wall in Jennifer's blood, an attempt to mislead police into thinking the killer had satanic beliefs. Police found Giordano later that morning. Medics had already made contact with him 90 minutes before her body was found, when a resident had dialed 911 earlier after seeing a man bleeding from his hands on the stretch of roadway in front of his home. The bleeding man identified himself as Michael Giordano to the medics. Soon after that encounter, someone else called police after seeing Giordano throw credit cards and several items into the street and bushes. Those items turned out to belong to Jennifer Ayers. And that's when the Seattle police went to Ayers' house to investigate what they thought might be a property crime. When they got there, they heard the smoke alarm, and they went inside an unlocked door to see if anybody was hurt. That's when they found her body, still bound and burning, as well as blood everywhere and a can of gas. Jennifer Ayers' family said they didn't wish to pursue the death penalty. So in the end, after trial, Michael Giordano was sentenced to 60 years, and he won't be eligible for parole until he is 85. Her neighbors still mourn her. They all loved her. Her son is in that house now. He walks Wolfie now. I believe Jennifer was cremated like her father. His ashes were scattered in Puget Sound, and her mother is buried in Rock Island in Illinois. What a random act of violence. A horrific death. She was home, enjoying her life, relaxing, and just because her door was unlocked, a stranger had entered and raped and killed her. It could happen to anybody.